today's project is not a big project, but out here where I have all of my little fruit trees growing, these are very small trees. They are going to be dwarf trees, so I don't have to worry about them getting too big. But they're spaced out just enough that their canopies will hit without overlapping, and that's kind of ideal for a small space. Not that I'm short on space. I want to make sure that all of my stuff works together in the smallest space possible. So kind of like playing Tetris, you want to make everything fit, and that's ideal for our area, our growing. So that's kind of what I'm doing here with the dwarf fruit trees. They are in the garden, not outside of the garden. The previous video I was talking and showed where I was putting them on the fence line, and it turned out that that wasn't going to work, so I ended up putting them inside the garden. So we have like the strawberry beds over here. In between the strawberry beds and this border bed over here, I have a line of fruit trees. Probably can't see them in the video. They're just sticks right now, but even being sticks, there's a little bit of growth foliage here. This one, same thing. And then this one here. I have this pole sticking up so that I can see where it's at in relation to the drive coming through here, so nobody's going to run it over. And the drive goes all the way to the compost bin over there. My compost bin needs to be rebuilt. It burned down. Okay, Wes burned it down, but it needs to be rebuilt now so that I can actually put compost in it and work with it. Oh, gross, Maggie. No. Get out of that. Ugh. Dogs. So with the trees in between the border bed and the strawberry bed, and then the trees, I have a mimosa here in between the border bed and the potato beds. Among those trees, I'm going to be planting pumpkins. So the pumpkins are just going to run across the ground where all the bark is. But the bark is intermixed with a lot of the pine needles. But the pine needles are still semi-green, so it'll be a little difficult to find the plants if I just plant them in the ground. And then I'm going to be running a line out with a drip irrigation system to be able to water them. These are pumpkins. I have 3 different types of pumpkins, total 12 plants, and I want to plant them around my little fruit trees out there so that they can get watered. And so what I'm doing, because the entire ground is covered in bark mulch, I want to be able to know where the plants are originally while they're still small. So I am taking these little pots, they're very, very inexpensive, but I'm cutting the bottoms out of them so that I can put them in the ground, plant the plant in it, and be able to see outside of all of the bark where the plant is. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm cutting them up, and then we'll figure out where to put them. So I've got a bunch of potting mix down here that I'll be using to fill the pots with the squash while I'm out there. So I have to move the bark out of the way, dig a little bit of a hole, start filling them, and make sure it gets watered. That's the biggest problem, is the water. So to start, I'm going to lay out where I want the pots, and then I'll start planting. So I have 7 trees in this area, 1 over there. I'm planning 2 on that side where the potatoes are, but I only have 1 over there right now. So I'm thinking in between each of the trees on this side. So with a bunch of bark on the ground, if I don't put compost around the plants are going to be nitrogen deficient. The decomposition process of the bark and the pine needles on the ground actually pulls nitrogen out of the soil, depleting it from the plants, which is why laying down bark is so good at a weed deterrent or suppressant. Because it pulls the nitrogen out of the soil, there's not much food source for the plants to grow. So, gross! Get out of that! So when you put bark on the ground, it pulls the nitrogen out, depleting the soil of the nitrogen necessary for the plants to grow. So that's why a lot of gardens are so deficient in nitrogen, because bark is a great mulcher, but it stops the nitrogen. So in order for the plants to continue growing, you have to compensate for that. So I'm going to put some compost on around the plants, and then every week I will give it some compost tea, and that's just actually I'll make another video of that. I make my own compost tea from my own compost, and I'll add other stuff to it, so like blackstrap molasses, so that the bacteria that's in the compost will grow, and it provides a good nutrients for them, and so that way when I put it on the ground, they can continue living. And yes, my boards back here are warped. They were some of the more extremely warped boards that I had from collecting from the construction site. They have not been fixed, but they still work. They don't look as pretty, but it still works. So now that I have them planted, I am going to water them with a compost tea that's been diluted. I don't have the dilution ratio, so sorry. It's just I've been cleaning out the compost tea aerator, and what was left over is now added with quite a bit of water. So instead of having to make a new batch and mix the new batch, I am just using what I have added in order to clean the compost tea aerator. I have to add nitrogen to these plants, otherwise the carbon, as it's breaking down, will deplete the plants found in the ground. Which, if you saw me digging, there's not much. So by adding the compost tea, I can add beneficial microbes and nitrogen to all the plants. This is my mimosa tree. I have been waiting for a mimosa for about 3 years now. I have been wanting one. I just haven't gone out and got one. But I wanted to make sure that I had a place for it that was going to work really well in the garden. So I have waited 3 years to get my mimosa tree. In that 3 years, I've been doing a little bit of research on the care and maintenance of it because it is much different than the other trees that I have. But so far, it was a stick when I got it, and it's looking pretty darn good. But I think I'm done for today. Today is the 4th of July, so happy birthday, America. Thank you to all of the veterans and the patriots, especially those in the past that have fought for our freedoms. So thank you, patriots, for fighting. Thank you for defending our freedom and our rights to be free people. And I want to also say a big happy birthday, Jerid. My son Jerid is in Taiwan. He is teaching English. Today is his birthday. He was born on the 4th of July, many years ago. I don't want to say, because then you'll know how old I am. But today is Jerid's birthday. He did call me from Taiwan. We do FaceTiming. It's an app that you use that you can video chat. So we had the opportunity to talk for a while, and it was nighttime there for him. So he had already actually celebrated his birthday, and well, he actually celebrated his birthday the day before because his girlfriend had to work on his birthday. So they went out and celebrated the day before. And then he gave me a call when he was free. His schedule is a lot more busy than mine, so he definitely is the one to call when he has time. So it was nice to hear from him on his birthday. So happy birthday, Jerid in Taiwan. I'm going to link his page down below, so if you want to check it out, you can go check it out. He plays video games. I'm not into video games, so I don't know what exactly it is he plays or what he does, so I don't know. I'm sorry. But happy birthday, Jerid. Happy birthday, America. Thank you for joining me in the garden today. I'm looking forward to having pumpkins for Halloween, and we will see you again next time. Bye.